Hello Legion, this is Hadrian. Thank you for being here, and I'm as excited to say this as ever. Let's play The Long Dark, as we dive headlong into Season 4 of our Against All Odds series. I'm going to do a really quick intro if you want to know what's up, but if you're impatient, there's a timestamp on your screen. Feel free to navigate there on the timeline to jump straight to gameplay. So, just as Season 3 introduced Interloper for the first time, Season 4 marks another big first for this series. This is our first 6 p.m. full series in the Faithful Cartographer update. For those of you who don't know what that means, I'm referring to the final early access patch prior to The Long Dark's long-awaited retail release in August. As of this patch, the game is looking quite polished and feels closer to going gold than it ever has. It's still early access, there are still bugs to be squashed, and there's still the occasional crash to be sorted out, but it's looking and playing really smoothly. I've already uploaded a couple of playlists focusing on the Faithful Cartographer patch and what's new, so check those out if you haven't seen them. For this series, I want to take a different approach to what I've done in the past, not only with those series I just mentioned, but with Against All Odds in general. This isn't a full tutorial like Survival School, but I want it to be part Let's Play, part tutorial. Rather than showing just one patch, I want to focus on the entire game experience as it exists today at Stalker difficulty, and that's something, of course, that I haven't done in Against All Odds before because of this new patch, and I specifically want people watching to be able to learn some of the ropes of Stalker difficulty, which we didn't cover in Survival School, and feel free to ask questions of me and of each other in the comments, just like you could in Survival School. Of course, I've always offered the occasional pieces of advice in this series, but this time, the advice is a definitive part of the series, something more official. I'm actually deciding that I want to make it a part of the series. We're going to do a random start location, so it's like Interloper difficulty in that regard, but going forward with this series, including this season, I want to be true to the series past by keeping it at the Stalker difficulty and occasionally surprising you guys with a fresh Interloper run separate from Against All Odds as the game continues to grow and evolve. I just think that Stalker is the highest level difficulty that presents the full game in all of its glory. Long story short, Against All Odds has always had a focus on the narrative of the character we're playing and experiencing as much of the game as possible. So this time we are doing Stalker difficulty to honor the series past, and I'm going to do what I can to deliberately share survival tips and answer questions from you along the way. So that's it, but one very important final note before we begin. When it comes to the advice, I'm not going to try as hard as I did in Survival School to avoid spoiling you. So as I have often said in my Long Dark playthroughs, and I'm just going to get this out of the way right now, if you're new to this game, I really encourage you not to lean too heavily on tutorials. I'm not telling you not to watch this series, but don't lean too much on tutorials, player tips, maps, walkthroughs, or whatever else. If you're new to the game and you're the kind of player that learns best by learning the world from others and learning the game from others, then I think you're going to like this series and find it useful. But just be aware. This is a harsh and unforgiving and yet beautiful world and game, and you can miss out on something by choosing not to discover it all on your own. So you've been warned. It's a really, really special experience when you're brand new to the game, and I'm always jealous of completely new players for that very reason. So without any further ado, let's get going. I'm going to jump into sandbox mode here, and we're going to create a new sandbox. Stalker difficulty, of course. Random start location, of course. Jennifer Hale, of course. And we are not going to activate any feats. Let's go ahead and just confirm. Name it the obvious. And get going. A mysterious geomagnetic storm has brought your plane crashing down into the northern Canadian wilderness. How long can you survive? Let's hope for a while. We're going to go as long as we can, that's the point. He knelt among the shadows and felt his isolation bitterly. They were savages, it was true, but they were human. William Golding, Lord of the Flies. Oh, hello. All right, then. The game has graced us with a coastal highway start. Let's head this direction and see what we've got. What time of day is it, by the way? Okay, it's morning. How cold are we? Very cold. All right, let's move a little bit faster. I'm not going to check my clothing situation until I'm indoors, but decent start location. Should have plenty to explore. Let's take the high road here a little bit, just in case there are any visitors nearby. Don't see any, though. Okay, let's keep moving. Beautiful sunrise to start the series off on. I cannot complain about that. We'll try and get a better view of that in just a second, but first we have some scavenging to do. Hello. Crow feather. And I think that's it for feathers. Let's check the body. Yep, already pretty cold. step inside for a second and see what this here logging camp has in store for us. So the general thing about Stalker difficulty is that at this level, items are a little bit rarer. You don't find stuff as readily as you do. Okay, we got some pork and beans, some good initial items, newspaper, some accelerant, and some food to get started. And it looks like there's a can opener there. Not bad at all. You don't find items quite as readily as you do in the lower difficulty levels like Voyager and especially Pilgrim. It's just not a thing. So you have to... A thin wool sweater to start. That's good. So you have to keep moving in general. I'm a pretty nomadic player when it comes to the Long Dark. And I find that playstyle, especially if you really want to explore the entire world and get the most out of it, is really conducive to experiencing the game at its fullest. That said, a lot of people do like to kind of hunker down as well and find a location and then fish and hunt and do what they can from a given area. And there are certain areas of the game that are very conducive to that playstyle as well. Okay, let me look around for just a second. Just triple check all these areas. I can, of course, rip these pillows up, but we need a knife to break them down. So the old bedroll, the pillow, it's all useful to me, or all useless to me until I have something I can actually tear into that stuff with. All right, nothing in here, right? All right, let's take a quick, before we step outside, first of all, let's do a clothing check. We've got a decent hoodie, which has a good amount of wind protection. What do we got here? All right, so this doesn't have, this is similar condition, similar wind protection, actually. I think I'm going to put the hoodie on the outer layer here. We are going to put the thin wool sweater on underneath it. As you can see, the hoodie is on the outside here. And then we've got some jeans on as well. Not the greatest condition. Also not the greatest condition underwear. We have some sports socks, which are not the best socks in the game. Some running shoes, which would be good for movement early on. And hey, look! The game started us with headgear. That's hilarious, Long Dark. Thanks for that. Appreciate it, jerk. There's a context to my rant right now. If you don't know it, you don't know it. Okay, so yeah, I think I've looked around in here. Let's go ahead and step back outside and keep moving. Also, we want to try and appreciate that sunset or that sunrise if we still can. Let's step. We can't step straight up there, but we can go this way. Are you gonna let me up there? No, you're not. Really? I thought I got up there at some point in the past. That's why I was trying that, but I guess the game is not gonna let me this time. Maybe they changed the terrain slightly. Or maybe it was going up here that I remembered. Any wolves? Anybody? Nope. There's our sunrise, though. Beautiful horizon. Let's go ahead and step down here and get moving. We've got a couple of areas near here to explore before we go down into Coastal Highway proper. But this is a good central start location as far as the Long Dark is concerned. This isn't bad. Now, one thing about the wildlife in Stalker difficulty, it is slightly, unless they've changed things, which is possible, but to my knowledge, it is slightly more numerous. There's more wildlife in Stalker than there is in Interloper, which I know sounds backwards, but the wildlife is more deadly but less numerous in Interloper. It's more numerous but less deadly in Stalker. So we're more likely to see wolves about, more likely even perhaps to see bears about. Bears are rare even at Stalker difficulty level. When you see a bear, it's always just like panic, unless you have a gun or a bow and arrow that you're very good with. All right, so we got some hypothermia risk. I need to get back inside ASAP. Let's, okay, I see some mushrooms here we need to pick up. Mushrooms are, of course, the game's natural antiseptic when you don't have real antiseptic. Or not antiseptic, but antibiotic. Antiseptic is for topical treatments. The mushrooms, of course, form a treatment that you can consume. So they're good to fight off infections that have already made their way into your system, as opposed to bacteria on the skin, which is what you would use antiseptic for. All right, we got some frostbite risk as well, so I'm guessing that's because we don't have any hand covering. Yep, frostbite risk on the hands. Now, we are at 97% condition, so we're still okay. Storm Lantern, not a bad start. Let's go ahead and... Ooh, Storm Lantern with no fuel whatsoever. Do we have any fuel on us that we started with? Doesn't seem like it. And these pork and beans are pretty low condition, so tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and eat these and pray to God that we don't get food poisoning, but that's about as low condition as I want things to get before I consume them. So thankfully we found that can opener. Okay, no food poisoning. And I'm not going to consume that drink just yet because I don't think I really need to. No, we're good. We do need to all right, speaking of antiseptic, there's some antiseptic. We need to stay in here for another second and warm back up.
That'll come in handy.
Okay. Yeah, so the game is being very kind to me after my more recent run in Interloper. So we got a fire striker right off the bat. There's not a dead body in here. Nothing in the crate or beside the crate. Let's look around these nooks and crannies, see if there's anything else we find. It's a pretty damn nice day when you start the game with a fire striker and a storm lantern on any difficulty in the first 10 minutes. Fire strikers, of course, important because you don't have to consume matches to start fires. Especially on Interloper difficulty, matches are precious. Finding a fire striker on Interloper is one of the holy grail finds. But even on Stalker difficulty, it's pretty significant as well. So I think what I want to do... Well, no, I think we can go ahead and head out. I am pretty low in my warmth condition, so I need to go from indoor environment to indoor environment. I need to not linger anywhere for too long, but I think I can safely proceed to another spot that I can explore and possibly find some good stuff. Yep.
If I don't warm up soon.
So I guess one thing I will cover very quickly because it's so fundamental to the Long Dark, even though this isn't a tutorial series proper. If you are newer to the game, just one thing to touch on really quickly. When you hold down the tab key, you can see, or I think it's the menu button on Xbox. You guys can let me know in the comments. We talked about this in Survival School, but I've forgotten. I don't play this on Xbox. I play it on PC. But you can see your condition indicators. You're not actually being harmed as far as your life bar, which is at 96% right now, until one of them is in the red. So right now, obviously, we're getting more tired because we're moving about pretty quickly. We're getting thirstier and we're getting hungrier at all times. As long as you're outside, you're going to be getting colder too. So those things are pretty much all perpetually going down. But hang on, am I approaching the right spot? Yes, I am. There it is. But your condition doesn't actually drop until one of them is in the red, and then your condition will slowly drop to 0. It is when your condition drops to 0 that you need to worry about, well, drops to close to 0. If it drops to 0, you're dead. You won't have anything left to worry about at that point. But when your condition gets close to 0, like say 30 is when you should start to worry, but honestly higher than that. You want to keep it as high as you can at all times. That's generally how the game goes. So keep an eye on that number, and as long as it's... You can have some red condition indicators as long as you're managing everything and not getting carried away and distracted and not paying attention to your vitality. Ah, more reishi mushrooms. Let's grab those while we're out here. There's a bunch of them. Not only can these be used for that natural antibiotic that I mentioned, but you can also use reishi mushrooms you can make that tea, that antibiotic tea, but you don't have to consume it for medicinal purposes. It has a small caloric value, so if you find yourself really low on food, if you have the ability to start a fire, you can make some tea from reishi mushrooms, or from the rose hips that you just saw me picking, which are the game's natural painkiller, and you can get a little bit of caloric value that way. What does that mean? No, 66% condition, not bad. Oh, we didn't need to eat that. We're completely full. Okay, so we still have some calories from that. There's a flare. Anything in here? Anything at all? No, okay. Alright, I'm gonna tell you what, just so as not to rush, I'm going to light my lantern. Well, I don't have a lot of fuel in this thing, so if I light it, it's not going to be able to show me very much at all. I just don't, I don't think I'm missing anything. We need to get some lantern fuel. We'll find some down in the highway area. So, we don't have any weapons yet because I didn't pick up any rocks. But you can, oh look, there's some more reishi mushrooms. Wow. This would have been nice at the beginning of the Interloper miniseries. Alright, so how's our condition? We're at 85%. If I keep moving, well, let's go over this hill so we can get a bit of a higher view. If I keep moving, I can make it to shelter pretty quickly. Okay, so there's the log sort. Any animals nearby? Don't see any. Alright. Crows circling, indicating a body, of course. We'll check that out later. But I'm going to try and... I've got plenty of energy at the moment, so I'm going to expend some of my stamina, move quickly. There's a slight warmth bonus that you get, the slightest of warmth bonuses when you are running like this. So it does help you a little, but it's not making a huge difference right now. Especially since our cold meter is already bottomed out. Alright, more crows. I'm guessing this is a deer corpse, but it could be a human body. It's usually a deer corpse here. Yeah, deer corpse. We don't have any tools yet, so I'm going to leave that be. And also, I'm going to step back up here, take a little bit of the high ground, because there can be wolves hanging out in this area, and I don't want to walk headlong into an ambush. Now, a wolf in Stalker won't kill you as easily as a wolf in Interloper, but you just, like I said, you just don't want to be too foolhardy ever. Said the guy who is always foolhardy in his playthroughs. I have a tendency, once I have any kind of confidence in me, with my equipment and my survivability, I have a tendency to take stupid risks for fun. That's why we're on Season 4. At least I think it is. Okay, any wolves nearby? No, don't see any. Got a few more sticks. I feel like I heard footsteps just now. Alright. Sometimes there is a hatchet here, but not this time. Unless I'm looking at the wrong stump. No, there's not a hatchet. Okay. One back here anywhere? No, but there's a stick. I'll take it. Alright, let's go back inside. Until I've got covering for my hands, I don't want to risk frostbite. Another storm lantern and more antiseptic. Looks like a similar spawn pattern to one of the other huts we've already been in.
This anymore.
That can happen sometimes. Hasn't happened too often in my series, to be honest, but let's see. Got one of these with 0.2 gallons, another one with 0.21. So yeah, let's go ahead and break this one down. We'll pass some time and let us warm up. Got some scrap metal and a little bit of lantern fuel. Let's go ahead and refuel that one. So we're slightly better off here. So starting off in Coastal Highway is going to be... Oh, nice. Orange sweatshirt. Starting off in Coastal Highway is going to be pretty nice. There's an orange soda in there. Let's go ahead and get the lantern out since we've got fuel now. I think we are going to find a good amount of gear. So this one has all the fuel. Especially since we already found that fire striker. We're off to a good start here. I'm liking it. Flare. Okay, not an identical spawn. Similar, but some different items. The Long Dark makes use of a loot table system where there are a bunch of different locations in the world where items can spawn, as you might imagine. And every time you start a new game, depending on the difficulty level you're playing and such, you'll have different spawns. Okay, so let's put that away. And where do I want to go? That house is boarded up. Can't get inside it. Do I want to go down to the fishing huts first? Yeah, screw it. Let's go down there first. Let's do something a little bit different than we normally do. Let's head this way. How's that frostbite risk? 49%? Alright, gotta move fast. But we are not encumbered. I've got running shoes on, so my sprinting, as you can see there, is not encumbered whatsoever. It's not restricted whatsoever, I guess is the better way to say that. Okay, there's a wolf. And he's walking right towards the road. I think this happened... This is actually a little bit of deja vu. Last time I was at this point on the road for the first time arriving in Coastal Highway. Just a few days ago in a previous recording. Oh, hi. You're a lot closer than I thought you were. Alright, let's crouch. Reduce the wolf's detection range on us. Let's see if he turns around. This is not the best. But our frostbite risk isn't going up too fast. Main issue with that, again, is we have no hand covering, so... We've got covering everywhere else but our hands. So that needs to change. Okay, the wolf turned around. Let's start moving a little bit. As he gets away from the shoreline, we can sprint and then make our way to our next stop. I think actually there's a body up here that we can visit really quickly. Let's... Yep. This is the one the crows were circling over earlier. There's a rifle cartridge. Nothing on the body, though. There are some crow feathers, which I will gather really quickly. Any others? Just the one? Just the one. Alright, crows. Being stingy today, huh? Alright, wolf is still walking away. Need to be a little careful here. How's the frostbite? 50%, still good. Looks like the weather's getting a little bit worse, though. I gotta get past this guy. Sooner than later. Wait, did he turn around? Please don't tell me he turned around. He's just moving slow. Alright, so there's a car over there. One thing I could do is I could just sprint for the car. One thing you may be noticing, they've definitely changed the weather effects in this most recent patch, so if you're returning to the Long Dark, I mean, this snow and the color of the atmosphere in the distance should look a little bit more... I think it's more realistic than it has been in the past, and I love it. I think the game has always been beautiful, but it's just getting better and better the closer we get to a release build. Okay, I think we're ready to sprint. Okay, good. Alright, trunk. You have a lock on it? Nope, you don't. Alright. Nothing in there. Check the back seats. Anything in the front seats? Don't see anything.
Best be prepared for anything.
Alright. Some players will try to tell you that you can find candy bars and the occasional food item in those visors if you lower the visors in cars. Never happened to me. It's kind of an urban legend in the Long Dark community. I've never seen video footage of it actually happening. Nor have I actually seen anyone produce video footage. I'm not saying it doesn't happen definitively. I'm just saying it's never happened to me. And some other commenters on the channel have corroborated that. But you will have people telling you that occasionally, so just be aware. That advice does circulate in the community. Banged up pork and beans. Ah, cedar firewood. A hook and a toque. Let's go ahead and slap that on. It's got better wind protection, so we need to take that off briefly. I'm going to put the Canadian toque, the wool toque on the outer layer. Better wind protection. Of course, once we repair these, we might change our mind, but I think the wool toque will still have the better wind protection. Ragged work gloves, perfect. We've got some hand covering. It's not the best hand covering in the game, but that'll help with our frostbite risk a little bit. We're still going to get inside and rest in a second, but... Okay, there can be wolves in this area, so I need to... Thankfully there's mostly deer, seems like, but still need to be careful. Hey, Boats. How's it going, Boats? Anything you got for me? Of course not. Feast your ears on the best track in the game. Alright, so as you saw, we got some fishing line there. And yes, I did just cut that track early. I know I never do that. What's wrong with me? I know. Decent leather shoes. Okay, good. These aren't... We don't have a pry bar yet, so we can't pry our way into locked lockers, or locked trunks, for that matter, if we find more cars. But... Alright, so it's midday. The lighting in these buildings is going to be pretty good. We definitely want to do what exploring we can. We're at 56% condition, though, so I've been... I've been pushing it to start off here. Need to rest a little bit and recover some condition, but I'm going to keep looking around for a moment longer because there's a number of houses nearby. I know. I know. Let's go back inside. Okay, I see Oh no, that's the backpack. I thought that was something behind the backpack, but there's not. Nothing in it, nothing in the crate.
This stuff will come in handy.
Nice, worn cargo pants. Some of the better clothing items in the game. Granola bar, anything under this fancy bed? Alright, there's some work boots. Those will be better than our running shoes. Alright, let's see what we got here. Cargo pants have definitely better wind protection, so we're going to put those on over the jeans. And we're going to replace the... Well, those are actually pretty good condition. 81%. They're still lower condition than our running shoes, but they're providing more protection in every way, with the exception of reducing our sprinting a little bit, because they're work boots. But we're going to have some repairing to do soon. This thin wool sweater... Yeah, seems like this has better wind protection, which is nice. This actually does have better wind protection at a lower value, so we might actually need to replace the hoodie. And we'll repair all these items up and then do a really... We'll do a good comparison of our clothing. Since we're playing at Stalker level difficulty, it's going to be easier to... Well, do that. It's going to be easier to get a sense for, you know, how well the clothing items compare, and to have just a bunch of different clothing items. Because we're not playing on Interloper, so we're going to find... As you can see, we're going to find lots. As long as we keep moving. That's what I was talking about when it comes to mobility. In the early game, I think it's very, very useful to learn to just kind of move and keep moving. Now, let's look in here really quickly. Anything in the boats? Nothing in the boats. Alright, so I think I've already been in these two huts. Let me just make sure I've been in.
It's so cold.
Oh no, haven't been in here.
Up a bit.
Bandage, some reclaimed wood. Tomato soup. So for those of you who have only seen me play Interloper difficulty from recent days, obviously this is pretty different. You know, we're finding a lot of stuff. You know, it's not quite as intense right away, but it gets intense later on once we've scavenged the world and start running out of supplies. So there's still a sense of urgency. It just doesn't set in quite as rapidly. Just for the record. For those of you who do need that clarification. Not all of you do. Some of you might be newer to the game. Just keep everyone on the same page.
God, I've never cold.
Alright, so now it's probably time we stayed inside for a bit, because there's nowhere else we can go from here that wouldn't require a bit of a trek. We've got to warm back up. Alright, there's some beef jerky. Nothing under there, nothing on the shelves. Okay. So, got a little bit of water. I think what I'm going to go ahead and drink this soda. This is pretty low condition. Maybe drink the other one as well, so as not to have to drink too much of our water. And then let's sleep for... Tell you what, you know, we don't want to cover a lot of condition. Let's sleep for as long as the game will let us. It's going to be nighttime when we wake up, but we've got some good covering. And all right, good. Both of our risks went away. All right, you woke up fully rested. 100% condition. Feels like 37 degrees. We are thirsty as hell, which I expected. I've got this cup of coffee. So we started with a cup of coffee in our inventory. Okay, well, tell you what. We just woke up. Let's go ahead and drink that. Get the energy boost from that. And yeah, let's go ahead and drink this water. We're gonna need to get more. Yeah, we definitely need more potable stuff soon. More potable stuff. But now we can continue heading down the road, and the weather doesn't sound too threatening. It's not. Nice. Alright, so do we go that way? Do we go this way? Yeah, let's keep heading into the wilderness of the zone. I feel like very often when I play, and perhaps very often when a lot of people play, they tend to go straight for the more populated areas of Coastal Highway, so I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. For myself and for you guys. Alright, that's a deer. So, actually, let's put this away. I don't need it right now. It's a beautiful moonlit night. How cold is it? 1 degree. All right, we're pretty cold. But thanks to the gear we have... Oh, there's a deer and a couple of wolves, actually. Need to be careful. I have a tendency sometimes to see a deer and be like, okay, there's a deer. There's no predators around. Technically, I should assume the opposite. But, you know, when you can see a bunch of deer around, it's generally an indicator that nothing is chasing them off, you know? Oh, is it? Are these maybe the hints of aurora happening right now? Or is it just an atmospheric change of some kind? That's kind of cool. The aurora, actually, I don't think are in the game yet, but definitely seemed like there was something happening related to them there. Alright, it's getting darker. It's going to be harder to see those wolves if I'm not careful. Alright, pretty damn cold already. This is the danger of going out at night, but... Let's get a newsprint roll, Summit Soda. Search that. Search that. Search that. Nothing. That's actually one thing I haven't done yet. Let's go ahead and take some charcoal from here. Because they have added the mapping feature. I'm not big on using it too much, to be honest with you. But you can use it. Just pull up the context menu, go to navigation, pull out your charcoal, and sketch in an area of the map. Oh yeah, it's a lot darker. Crap. Alright, well in that case, we're going to go this way. We're going to go towards Jackrabbit Island and the Misanthrope's Homestead. It's a little dangerous what I'm doing right now because I don't know... I didn't quite look ahead of me to see if there are wolves on this side of the island, but I can barely see thanks to my breathing. And I'm a little bit disoriented. Alright, I think... Hang on. Let's get the lantern out, because I can't quite tell where I am. Alright, there's another... I see a deer in a shed there. Okay. Okay, I know where I am. Okay, there we go. Okay. Whew. Alright. Feeling better. Actually, I think I can go towards that shed. There's a deer pretty near it. If there was a wolf near it. How we doing on condition? We're still okay. Got an energy boost as well from that coffee. Let's check in this shed really quickly. And then we're going to turn around and go straight to that island right there. Let's move a little faster, shall we? Sorry about that. Didn't mean to startle you. Okay, what have we got? A couple of items. Hunting knife. Tin of sardines. Whetstone. We'll check the condition on the hunting knife when I'm not about to freeze to death. I'm actually not about to freeze to death, but I'm about to start freezing to death. Take the charcoal. Alright, so we've got a couple of pieces of charcoal now that we've picked up. Alright, now... And there we go. So notice that our sprint bar is a little bit more restricted now because of the footwear that we have on. Right, I'm actually going to put this away. I know that sounds a little bit strange, but I feel like I might be able to see the wolves a little bit more easily. There's silhouettes against the highlighted horizon there. See, there's a silhouette of a cabin there in the middle. You have your monitor brightness settings tweaked. I've got mine very finely tuned for this game, but sometimes playing at night when you're watching a Let's Play, or playing yourself, you know, I'm going to turn this on so I can see the terrain. It can be hard to see, and I'm aware of that. Okay, I think we can go straight up here. Let's quickly stop and grab this old man's beard lichen. This is very handy for some craftable bandages that allow you to bandage up and disinfect a wound. Son of a... I don't know where he is. I'm just going to run up the hill and hope he's not in front of me. Okay, that wolf was right behind me. Whew, okay. But yeah, you can use those to disinfect, speaking of bites, you can disinfect wolf bites and bandage them at the same time if you have a lot of old man spirit on you. All right, let's take a moment to look around here. Good, ragged cotton scarf. Well, actually, we already have 2 headgear, so we might not be able to use that unless it's better than one of the items we're wearing, but we'll look into that in just a moment. First things first, we got some curtains here too. I need to rip those down. Pork and beans. I'm gonna have a look around this house before I cut this first episode here. Off to a pretty damn good start, if I do say so myself. Coastal Highways, it's hard to have a bad start on Coastal Highway, but one thing I do want to say, one place I definitely want to go in this series, I want to make a point to go to Mystery Lake and then go to the Forlorn Muskeg and explore it for the first time. I haven't been yet, and I want to go with a purpose. I want to go and really, really, hey, we got not just any grape soda. I want to see that zone. I haven't been yet, and I really, really, really want to explore it. I've been waiting to do that on YouTube with you guys, so. Because again, it's great when you're exploring a brand new place and you've never, you don't know what's there, you don't know what's around the next corner. There's nothing like it. All right, cup of herbal tea, that's awesome for better rest. We might drink that before we go to sleep, or save it when we need it more. All right, did I check everything in here? I feel like I did, but did I open that cabinet? Yes, I did. Did I look for a flare under there? Okay, should be good. Sometimes there's... You can pretty regularly count on flares to spawn under certain couches in certain home types. I don't think this is one of them, but it looks similar. Or maybe it is. I can't recall. All right, so check the cabinet here.
I'll take it.
Oh, Mariner's Peacoat in episode 1. All right. Game is really, really being nice to me given what happened to me last. And some ear wraps. Okay, that is some extra hair, head covering. So yeah, the game is literally raining head covering on me like I was joking about with one particular commenter, since it was not doing that for me in certain recent playthroughs. All right, we got a wool shirt there, so that's going to be handy as well. Let's take a peek in here. Definitely get some lovely toilet water. Perfectly drinkable.
I can use this.
Okay, nothing in here. There are, however, there's a towel. Let me go ahead and... We're going to use our hunting knife. Requires light to break down. Of course it does. All right, well, in that case, I'm going to wait till the morning to repair some of this stuff. But what we're going to do, step in here. Now, let's see, clothes-wise, we've got these wool ear wraps to wear now. They're actually very, very good condition, so that's even better. Now, this scarf, ooh, is very poor condition, but I need to repair these items up to see what I can do. And we've got this Mariner's Peacoat, so let's wear that. Of course, that's a pretty heavy coat. It's a 4-pound coat, so that's going to weigh us down, having that on us, but still a very nice thing to have. I think there's some items that I can break down that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to wear. For instance, I can go ahead and break down my running shoes, or maybe we can keep them. I'll keep them on me for now. It might be nice to have as like a change of clothing, since we're already in Coastal Highway, which is probably going to be a central area for us. Let's go ahead and harvest these leather shoes, though. We can definitely use that leather later on. And then what else do we need to harvest? I don't think there's anything else we need to harvest, per se. I forgot about that wool shirt, though. Hang on. Would it be better than a thin wool sweater? Most likely. Well, maybe. Hang on. That's 1.3 and 0.7. At what condition? At 74, and at 61, this is 1.1 and 0.5. So yeah, this is probably going to be better, but we need to repair it in order to make a really definitive comparison. And in order to repair it, we need cloth. So, tell you what, let's do that before the episode. Well, yeah, the thing is, I'm not very tired right now, which is kind of unfortunate. But let's drink some of this water, get our condition back up. We've got some coffee in us right now, obviously, so that's gonna... That just kept us pretty awake. You know, we didn't get as tired from that little brief excursion into the night there as we would otherwise. And now we are... It's close to the dawn, but I don't think the game is going to give us daylight yet. Nope, requires light to break down. So it's not actually sunrise yet until that thing's a little bit higher over the horizon. So, yeah, I'm actually going to use that mark that we just set by waking up as the save point to end this episode. But in the next one, we are going to continue to explore Coastal Highway. Like I said, the only reason we came out here first is because the weather got a little bit worse and I couldn't quite see where I was and I wanted to make sure I stayed safe. But we are going to continue exploring some of the back areas of Coastal Highway first, then explore some of the more populated areas, definitely find some good items, and then strike out into areas where we might be able to, get some of the better, either craft some of the better items in the game or find some of the best clothing items, which are possible to find. Some of the best clothing items in the game are actually better than the craftable items at present. So at least they were before Faithful Cartographer. I don't know if that was tweaked. Feel free to say so in the comments if you want to clarify for me or for others. But to my experience, the best items in the game that you can find that are man-made are actually better, if you can find them, than the craftable animal skin items. So we're going to work on kind of both of those objectives pretty soon, I would think. But that's an awesome start. I mean, we've got so much good gear within one episode of this. So Season 4 is already off to pretty epic beginning. Again, I want to emphasize that I'm focusing on, kind of giving you some tips as we play through this on Stalker level difficulty in particular. So feel free to ask questions if there's something you want to know about, like the difficulty levels or Stalker in particular, or if there's a piece of advice that I offer at some point that I get distracted and either don't say it very clearly, or you just want clarification for some other reason, feel free to reach out and let me know. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. Subscribe to follow along. New episodes are coming out every day at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, which is GMT -4 right now, for those of you not in the States, since we're in Eastern Daylight Time at the moment. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.